Hey, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok, and today I'm going to talk about a little visit I had to immigration. This past week I paid a visit to Thai immigration at Chaengwattana to do my 90-day report. I can't remember the last time I've gone to immigration to do a 90-day report. Uh, for the past 20 years or so, I've always mailed it in or done it online. But recently, I took a trip, and I was going to go to Malaysia. I ended up in Prachuap Khiri, and why this is important, I'll get to in a minute. I originally planned the trip for Penang in Malaysia, and then by the time I got to Hua Hin on the train, I decided to stop off in Prachuap for one night, and then I jumped back on a train to Malaysia the following day. Instead, I decided to stay in Prachuap Khiri for 3 nights, and then I headed back to Bangkok. Now, when I returned home, I remembered that I still had to do my 90-day report. Had I left Thailand and then entered Malaysia as I planned, when I came back in, the 90-day report would have been unnecessary. Once I came back in, the 90-day count would have reset, and that would have been it. I would have had another 90 days. However, since I didn't leave Thailand, I still needed to do it. I thought I had 7 to 10 days left before I had to file it, before it had to be in, before the deadline. So I just thought, oh, well, I'll do it online. And then I decided to take a look, and the reality was that the report was due that day, the same day that I looked. I looked early in the morning. I thought, oh, I better get it done because I got a week to 10 days. You got to do it ahead of time. I said, okay. So I tried to submit it through the website, and I got messages. Once I submitted the information, I got a message that said I needed to go to my local immigration office. Now, I thought that this was because I didn't give it enough time before the report was due. What immigration told me was that it was because I had recently renewed my passport and did not have a new Thai entry stamp after receiving the new passport. I had the old entry stamp. They transferred it over, but I hadn't left the country, so they weren't going to let me do it online. Why, I don't know. Anyway, so by 11 o'clock, I'm thinking I need to go to Chaengwattana because I don't want to fall out of favor with the law. I wanted to stay within the law. So I thought, I don't want to get a fine. I don't want to risk getting a 2,000 or 5,000 baht fine. So I called GrabUp. And at 11:30, they came, picked me up. I went to immigration. And by the time I got there, it was 12:30. Of course, this is lunchtime at Chaengwattana. 12 to 1 o'clock, they're shut down. Everything is shut down. So I went downstairs, had a coffee, and waited until 1. And then I went in and got a ticket. Now, my number was 571. I walk over to the 90-day report room, and the queue was at 225. So I had 346 people in front of me, and there was only two immigration officers serving the people ready to file their reports. Then another one came. Eventually another one came, and another one came, and there was 4 or 5 at a time, and they started, as the day progressed, they started getting more and more, processing the people more and more quickly, but I figured, hey, getting it done is a priority, so I'll just wait. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And at 5:30, I got called. Now, I was a little bit worried about the TM30 because I thought, I haven't ever done a TM30. I just told my landlord about the TM30. She didn't know about it. She said when I come back from Malaysia that she would notify them within 24 hours, that she would register beforehand. I had all the paperwork, and I would have the copies right away. I would get the copies to her so that if she needed copies of my passport and that kind of thing, and the TM30, that she would have everything in her possession right away. Obviously, I didn't go to Malaysia, but when I came back, first of all, the hotel that I was staying at, which was really a guest house, but I think there's like 10 or 12 rooms in it, the lady didn't know anything about the TM30. She had no idea she was supposed to be filing, so I don't think she filed for me, which is not a good thing because technically I believe she was supposed to. as soon as I checked in or the following day. Now, whatever, I come back, I get my copies of my passport and the visa and the TM6 and turn in the paperwork. My landlord had already registered, but she said she couldn't get the files to load on the website, which if you know anything about the Thai immigration sites, or many websites in Thailand, they don't always work. There's always some little glitch here and there. They don't work with this browser or whatever it is. And so not only did I have a problem trying to file my 90-day report for whatever reason, and I've had problems with it before where I ended up just going, I'm going to mail it. But she had problems. So she mailed it out. So she had just mailed it out the day that I came back, I guess, or the day after. She mailed it. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if immigration has my TM30 or not. I don't know if it's going to matter. But when I got called, I went up, and this was a lady who was, I thought that this particular officer, that it was like her day to call people on their TM30, because she kept saying, go to counter B, go to counter B, you need your TM30, go to counter B, go to counter B. And I'm thinking she's going to tell me to go to counter B, and I'm going to go, all I have is proof that something was shipped from my landlord, something was EMS'd from my landlord to immigration. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a TM30, and she's going to tell me to go to counter B. And being that it was the end of the day already, I was going to have to come back the next day. So I was going to have to spend even more time at immigration. But I got lucky. She was very nice. No problem. She didn't give me any hassle. She actually said to me, oh, this time you come in. I was like, yes, this time I came in. She said, you need to get a stamp out from you go outside the country when you come back in, then you'll be able to go online again. I said, oh, okay, so that's why. Okay. Boom. She stamps, she gives me she stamps the new paper, gives me the paper, says, don't lose this, keep this. I said, okay, stuck it inside my passport wallet. Get outside, and it's raining. Starts pouring rain. Very, very windy, rainy. There's like 40 people standing in line to get taxis. There's people standing in line to get motorbikes. There's people standing there waiting for their rides. There's probably 50, 60 people standing around, milling around, waiting for their rides. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not getting home for another 2 or 3 hours. So then I just thought about it, and I thought, you know what? The taxi drivers didn't want to take people to where they wanted to go. They were very picky about where they wanted to go, which you would think they would know by now, but they're not supposed to do that, but obviously it doesn't matter. So a lot of the Thais and foreigners were being denied, and the taxi would just go pull up a little bit, and somebody else would hit them up, and then they would either take them or not. So I just went, screw all this, got my phone, went to Grab, the Grab app, called up a Grab car. In 5 minutes, there was a car there. Guy picked me up, took me home, and it took me about 2 hours to get home. I got home at 7:30. So for this 90-day report, and I will admit, I should have either mailed it in 15 days or, say, 18 days beforehand, or I should have at least tried to go online and do it and then find out, oh, it's not possible, and then mailed it in. That was my fault. But the fact that you have to go all the way to immigration, or you have to go to immigration, maybe immigration is around the corner for some people. I spent 8 hours from the time I left my house to the time I got home. It's like a full day. To me, it's a time suck. It's a time waster. And then you got these officers sitting there, and they're just doing nothing but checking and stamping the new 90-day receipt and giving it back to people. To me, it would seem that it's more efficient to do it online. But for whatever reason, the Thais have their own reason. They like paperwork. They still like paperwork, although, in the future that may change. Who knows? But it was a long, tedious affair. They did not ask me about my TM30. I am still waiting for my landlord to get back to me and say, hey, I've got some kind of a receipt or proof it was received, proof it is accepted. Once that happens, then every time I leave this house and then come back, technically I am supposed to tell the landlord she should be able to go right online where she's registered and just do everything online. I don't know if she's going to be able to, but that's the way it is. And you know what? My wife called me that night, and I said, I spent all day at immigration. And you know what the first words out of her mouth were? Did you get it taken care of? Yes. Okay, it's done. Forget about it. So, there it is there. I'm very glad I got it done on time. I don't have to think to myself, oh, when I go in, I'm going to have to pay 2,000 baht. Or if they happen to stop me for whatever reason, I'm going to have to pay 5,000. So that was my experience, and I just felt like I should tell everybody what happened. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerken mai.